Hopefully, we're recording. What's happening, team? What's going on, team? We are live. So we're going to go through the reverse lunge, and also too, having um, real world experience on this one. I was training a couple of friends yesterday at the park, and we were doing so one of the husband was doing a reverse lunge, and I was taking a look at his technique, and his knee and ankle were kind of they were misaligned. Okay, so they were knee valgus. You've heard me talk about this in previous videos, and so I'll make sure that we kind of dive into knee valgus and the reverse lunge, the biomechanics, common issues. All right, so I have you guys won't see it, but you guys will see it, hopefully, hopefully on this one. Actually, maybe I can put it over here instead. No, I guess I can't. Let's see here. Downloads. Optimizing the reverse lunge. Oh, whoa. Sure. Oh, wow. Hopefully that's going to work. That's cool. Working with the school platform, we have the school platform here on my left, and we're going to share the screen on the iPad here. Optimizing the reverse lunge. Let's hit that share button. And window. Is that over there? I don't know. Let's see. I hope so. You are sharing your screen. I am. All right. So we have optimizing the reverse lunge. So biomechanical analysis of knee alignment, muscle underactivity, and corrective interventions. So I'll definitely want to make sure that I keep this a little quick on this one because I don't want to go overboard on time for everybody. And also too, like I'm still in the Cayman Islands, and today is April 1st, April Fools, and it's moving day. So I gotta hustle. I gotta hustle on this one. So this is a slide deck that you guys will have. You guys join the day one den. You could be live with me on this one. Biomechanical analysis for Q&A at the end. Identifying common movement dysfunctions in the kinetic chain. So knee valgus, so inward collapse, right? So when we're doing a squat, reverse lunge, front lunge, okay, so the knee valgus is when your knee trails inwards, okay, trails inwards on a leg, on both legs or one. Okay, so knee valgus occurs when the femur adducts and internally rotates, causing the knee to track medially relative to the foot. So if let's say, let's double check here. Let's say my wrist is my knee because I'm sitting down. My wrist is my knee, and ankle is here. Okay, so if I do a squat or if I'm misaligned, my knee goes medially. Medially is just the inside midline of my body. Lateral is the outside. Medial, inside. So if my knee caves inwards when I do a squat or a reverse lunge, that is relative to the foot. In this case, in my elbow. That's what we don't want. So that's going to have tremendous pain, low back pain. Your run gait will be affected. So that means your running time, your high rocks time. So if you have those issues, and if you work with them, it will definitely showcase in other events, and we don't want that. And okay, so of course this will lead to knee valgus will lead to increases tension on the ACL and MCL ligaments, right? Leads to patellofemoral pain syndrome. PFPS. Okay. So we have knock knee valgus. We have a normal knee on the slide deck here. Hopefully you guys can see my arrow. And of course we have bow legs. Valgus. Okay. Ankle stability, the foundation. So ankle overpronation. That's when your foot caves in. A collapse of the medial longitudinal arch. Hope you guys like my pronunciation. Forces the tibia to rotate internally, cascading instability up the kinetic chain to the knee. So as soon as my palm here, my knee, if my ankle caves in, that's going to disrupt the kinetic chain to my knee, and from my knee to my hip, my low back, overcompensating with the shoulder, perhaps, right? So there's a lot of other injuries that may uncover or be pronounced as you keep working with this injury and not addressing it head on, instead of having, or if you are having that mindset of I'll just work through the pain. You work through the pain, you actually then develop or higher chance of developing other imbalances within the body. Okay, and that's going to lead to future injuries, instead of correcting them off the spot or seeing a coach fight for X. And of course, we had our workout yesterday at the park, and I was able to see the knee tracking inwards on his, believe it was left knee on the reverse lunge. Of course, with remote coaching with our day one den inside the school group, what we do have is the video analysis. So I would need to see your front lunge, your squats, your push-ups, your wall angels, you see your internal rotation of the scapula. Okay. And once we have that video of you performing those exercises, I can see, and future coaches can see your proper mechanics for those given exercises and what leads or what may lead to further future injuries, right? So for example, let's say my friend, he is fit. He was a runner, track star back in his younger days. He's younger guy too, but yeah, no, like, what if, what if he decided to sign up with a, run my first 10K run, or run my first half marathon, or run my first marathon, and he signs up for a PDF booklet from said coach who is a marathon runner, most likely will have, common mistakes, careful of, hopefully the PDF will have that. But since this was pretty much the first workout that he had with me, and he was going through the list of exercises to perform to help strengthen and to improve his running time and speed and muscular endurance by doing reverse lunges, single leg glute bridges, deadlifts, perhaps, right? And then, day one, right off the bat, he's doing a reverse lunge, and that knee is tracking inwards. And he has no one to really see. He isn't really and he is unaware. He is unaware of this situation or unaware of this problem. He might feel like, oh, my knee's kind of bugging me, but he doesn't know why. He's doing the exercise. He is doing the list of exercise to perform. However, the execution and the stabilizing muscles or underactive muscles, in the sense, the glute medius, perhaps, right? So, like, it's nothing wrong with, with his approach. It was just his execution of that specific exercise. And what if down the road, 6 weeks, maybe when you sign up for a 6 week program or a 90-day program, and he's doing these exercises, and right from the get-go he has issues with that knee, and he's performing week after week, performing his run, trying to figure out why he has the knee pain, but he's still going to go through it. Maybe he just has to tough it out, right? So that's what I would do. I try to tough it out, right? Of course, now, that's my mentality. By now, I know, like, I better double check, why is my hip gluting, why is my hamstring in pain or my knee hurt, right? So I have to double check. And so that's why the beauty of video analysis, and of course in-person personal training, of course, but having the eyes and the experience of working with clients over the years to see that knee valgus happening right off the bat. And now that's why we are diving into the reverse lunge, because, for members of the day one den school community, one person will have a question. Let's address it, because that one question alone, other people coming on board will have the exact same question. All right, so that's why we're going through the knee reverse lunge and knee valgus, and what it is and how it can limit your progress inside the den. right? So the ankle stability is the foundation. Okay, so the stability assessment, observe the foot during the eccentric phase, eccentric lowering down of the lunge. The lack of short foot engagement indicates underactive intrinsic foot muscles and poor proprioceptive feedback. Proprioceptive feedback is just proprioception is just the body awareness of in motion, right? So we're just wearing, but the body being aware, or the joint angle being aware of where you are in space, so to speak. That's a horrible example, but I can add some more information in the comments when I upload this. So neuromuscular profile, under identifying underactive stabilizers and inactive muscle groups. So underactive stabilizers, right? So this is the one. So this is underactive stabilizers. We talked about on Monday. We talked about stabilizing muscles for that rotator cuff, for the shoulder issues, and of course last time with us live on here, right? So the underactive. Here, show my cursor here. So the underactive stabilizers. So the glute medius. Glute medius is the primary hip abductor. So abduction. So you're taking away from the midline body. Okay. And external rotator. So the glute medius side pocket is the primary hip abductor and external rotator. So weakness here is the leading cause of medial knee collapse during single leg tasks. Now, the glute maximus. The glute maximus, failed posterior chain engagement leads to quad dominant lunges, increasing anterior shear forces on the knee joint. Okay, so the glute maximus is a failed posterior is the backside, chain engagement. So if it's disengaged, it leads to quad dominant lunges, increasing anterior shear forces on the knee joint. So anterior shear forces on the front of the knee. Anterior is front. We got a husky hair. Zeus. All right, now of course in this next one here. So this is again we are talking about the underactive stabilizers. Another big one is your VMO. Your VMO, the little teardrop muscle on your quad here. So your vastus medialis, your VMO. So the VMO is critical for patellar tracking, patellar kneecap. So your VMO is critical. I'm tapping my knee like you guys can see it. The VMO is critical for patellar tracking. Underactivity prevents the kneecap from moving efficiently throughout the femoral groove. So kneecap moving efficiently throughout the femoral groove. Okay, so vastus medialis, your VMO. So we have to have that strong out medial side of the quad muscle of the kneecap. Okay, the glute maximus, the largest muscle on the body, the powerhouse glute, and your glute medius, the back pocket. These are underactive stabilizers. So joint loading and ACL stress. Okay, it's the physics of malalignment. Knee valgus increases the lateral force component, significantly raising the stress on the ligaments structures. We can model the pressure as force over contact area. We can model the pressure as force over contact area. So that if you guys can see here, so 3.5x increase in ACL strain. So as an alignment angle deviates from the vertical, local joint pressure rises exponentially. I need some water. Exponentially. Okay. So stability improvement timeline. So from week 0 to week 8, right? Stability typically improves by 65% within 8 weeks of consistent corrective exercise and proprioceptive training. So we can go through I was talking to actually, I was talking to the wife. I think we had some knee issues as well too, and you can do a single leg hold with the band pulling you the other direction, or even just a march. You can close your eyes, and do marches. So when you close your eyes and raise your one knee up, your stabilizing leg has to fight for balance and try to figure out where the body is in space in that plane of plane of motion. All right, so now we have corrective strategy. So a systematic approach to restoring alignment and function. Targeted interventions. So activation. So glute bridges and clamshells to isolate the hip stabilizers before compound movement. Okay, so activation. So doing glute bridges and clamshells prior to movement. Okay, prior to compound movement, I should say, rather. Right? So feedback loops, right? So RNT, reactive neuromuscular training, RNT, reactive neuromuscular training using bands to pull the knee into valgus, forcing the body to resist and engage your glutes. Okay, so we need glute activation through glute bridges, single leg glute bridges, clamshells. We'll get into monster walks, X-band walks as we go through on this one. Okay, so feedback loops, and of course we have integration. So slow tempo lunges using a mirror for visual feedback to ensure the knee tracks over the second toe. Right. So now, of course, granted, with my friend yesterday at the park, we didn't have a mirror. Now, of course, sometimes I do face my camera, front facing camera, to show, hey, like here, take a look at your movement pattern right here. So that's what we're kind of missing. Okay, so that's what we're kind of going for, is having the mirror, external feedback, of course, filming yourself, sending it to us, the Fighter FedEx team, and of course the inside the Day One Den school community for proper Q&A, making sure that your technique is sound and that you are well on your way to fitness success. Okay, so implementation protocol. All right, so visual monitoring. Like I just said, visual monitoring. Be inside the den, be with other community individuals who are on the same path of wanting to improve not only in fitness and health and wellness, but to improve mentally, physically, and having that support that is needed, especially on a journey of something brand new or coming back to fitness and health. So visual monitoring, utilize mirrors or video analysis, right? To identify collapse in real time. Progressive loading. Only add external weight once body alignment is mastered and stable, right? We don't want to jump in to kettlebell swings, kettlebell cleans, single arm power snatches with a dumbbell. We want to make sure that we have that knee and ankle, glutes are activated, and our stabilizing muscles are woken up to handle this body weight and external load, or our given sport, pickleball, padel, kickboxing, running, high rocks, spin classes. So foot contact. So you want to maintain a tripod foot contact. So your big toe, pinky toe, and your heel to stabilize the foundation. Again, I was talking to the missus. I was training her on Monday, I believe, or yeah, I think it was Monday. I was training her by herself, and we had our first initial consultation or assessment, and she expressed to me having pain in her foot. Okay, well, let's talk about overpronation. The analogy I expressed when you're doing squats or having that foundation within your foot is, when you come out of a swimming pool and you're barefoot and you're walking and you're leaving tracks. So hopefully you see more so is your heel, your big toe, pinky, and the outside blade of your foot. If it's really flat On the inside, that means you are having the overpronation, right? And that's when your ankle is caving inwards. And when you cave inward, that misalignment is going to mess up the kinetic chain or the train tracks of your body, of your shin to your knee to hip, knee to back, spinal column, head. So it's going to disrupt this whole power system that you have. So frequency. So perform corrective drills 3 to 4 times per week as part of a dynamic warm up. So a dynamic warm up, doing the hip cars, doing your lateral swings for your legs, doing your shoulder cars, controlled articular rotations. All right, so that is the slide deck for the reverse lunge. So ensuring longevity through biomechanical excellence by yours truly, Fighter Fit X, for the Day One Den school community. And that's just the image resources. Let's double check here. Oop, did I just mess that up? Hopefully I didn't mess that up. Hopefully you guys seen that. Hopefully you guys seen the that slide deck presentation. You guys will have it on. I'll post it in right after this live call here. So now we went through the reverse lunge and the biomechanics and what exercises are no, sorry, which muscles are underactive and what needs to be addressed. So I was talking to the couple yesterday, and I was sharing to them how we have the online school community and the remote coaching by Fighter Fit X, and how we use the Day One Dance Specialist AI coach assistant coach. Okay, so I already punched in. Let's see here. Where are we? Hey, where are we? Yeah, so I already punched in. So, for example, let's say we're live. Let's say the our clients were on board in the group call talking about a recap of yesterday's workout. All right, we did the presentation. Now we're going to go through the Day One Den Specialist app specifically for your situation. However, we all need to make sure that we are activating our glutes, that we are having proper alignment in our knee, in our descent for our squat. And so, yeah, so like if one person has this misalignment, potentially, the group will also need to address this as well. So let's double check here. So we're just going to quickly share what time is it? 2:24 Cayman Island time. I know Pacific time is our group coaching time slot here. So I'll finish up real quick here. Da-da-da, Day One Dance Specialist. Share that screen. Hopefully it's the correct one. And it's the correct one. So I was talking to them yesterday. I was talking to the couple yesterday, and I was explaining to them, like, yeah. So for example, let's say the D1 Den specialist coach or assistant coach here. Since now that I have that video analysis of the lunge, I just created a slide deck presentation to address said lunge misalignment issues, and now, for example, let's say I can copy and paste this the text box prompt for that client, but also for the group as well. So I already punched that in. Oops. So that I put down for the asset inventory, body weight, and bands. But in the prompt, I also specified the mini bands and, of course, the knee valgus issue. Right. So we have the Fighter Fit X performance protocol for the bulletproof knee. Okay. So the philosophy. Right. So movement is medicine, but only when the dosage is precise. Today, we address knee valgus, just like we did with the presentation. That inward collapse that drains power and invites injury. We are shifting from just moving to intentional stabilization. We are building a foundation where the hip dictates the knee's destiny. So working on that hip, working on the exercise I'm about to show you guys here. So phase one, we have joint preparation. So it's 4 minutes. The goal is to lubricate the hinges and wake up the proprioceptors. So we have ankle controlled articular rotations, sorry. And we have the hip 90-90 switches. We have phase 2 activation, 5 minutes. We have banded lateral walks, banded clamshells. Okay, and then we have the skill work, right? So we have the tripod foot. So the goal is to establish the base for the reverse lunge. Right, so we have a tempo reverse lunge, body weight only. The den standard. So your big toe must stay glued to the floor. If it lifts, the arch collapses and the knee follows. Okay. So common mistake, walking a tight rope for that reverse lunge. You see this a lot in my, especially in my journeys as a personal trainer inside the gym, commercial gyms. Right. So walking a tight rope. So keep your feet on railroad tracks. Keep your feet on railroad tracks. Right. So hip width apart. Where to feel it? Total foot engagement and your VMO, your inner quad. Stabilization. Now we have the corrective flow, the RNT circuit. Right. So RNT, remember RNT is reactive neuromuscular training. Right. So we are doing the RNT to feed the mistake, to correct the mistake. So the setup, place a mini band around the lead knee. The band should be anchored or pulled inward. So this is my knee. The band is pulling me inward. The band is pulling me inward, right? So immediately on the inside by a partner or a fixed pull. So I have a large band or a mini, in this case, we'll probably use a larger band. You can use the mini band, but you put the mini band, anchored it to a squat cage, anchor it to a bench perhaps, and put your knee inside, above the knee, or just above the knee, and forcing the knee into valgus. Now your job is to resist that pull. Okay, so the band's pulling you in, you want to resist. So I think I have a couple pictures of the Fighter FitX logo and my clients doing this anti-rotation or the pull in here. Okay. Now, of course, we have the power step up. So it's a body weight exercise now. Postural 5, recovery. So now we have 4 minutes for posture recovery. So the goal is to decompress and down regulate. So we have the couch stretch. Another client, she does spin. Awesome for her. She does spin freaking 6 days a week, and there's nothing wrong with doing spin 6 days a week. She is a well-conditioned athlete, and that is her go-to exercise, right? And she does recovery. She does eating healthy. She does her Pilates as well too. So she is. I'm not saying to do this. She is already well developed in her spin cycling muscle modality. Okay, so she's good to go on that. But I was asking her, do you ever do your couch stretches? And she goes, oh no, what's that? So I told her about it. I'm like, okay, I'll incorporate that. Right. So we have our bodies, we can be athletes, we can be on front of magazines, we can have our own YouTube channels, right? But if we're not using, or if we're not doing these RNT, or at least working on our stabilizing muscles, our performance will be limited, and our injury chances will increase. So making sure that we address these specific exercise and this sequence, right? And again, this sequence is based on National Academy of Sports Medicine and the American College of Sports Medicine protocol for workouts, injuries, and rehab. Right, so we have the couch stretch, and then we have the box breathing. Always deep breathing, because we always breathe with our chest. So we want to make sure that we have that diaphragm breathing, our belly expanding as we breathe. And coaching cues, the den style. Okay? The day one den. Right, screw the foot in. Right, screw the foot in. I'm not swearing. All right, so imagine your foot is a screwdriver. Torque the floor outward without moving your foot to engage the hip. So again, I was talking to another client and having a picture, you had paper towels on the floor, This is my feet. So I'm on the floor and I'm screw driving in. So I'm breaking that paper towel. However, I'm not pulling or sliding it away like a valve slide. I'm actually anchoring my feet in, but I'm breaking that paper towel. And that's what your foot placement, right? So show me your logo. So show me your logo. So picture you have a logo um, on your kneecap. So your logo, it should always point toward your pinky toe, never toward your midline. So again, so if I'm doing that reverse lunge and my knee is coming in, and my knee starts to cave in and it goes off of my pinky toe. So pinky toe, remember pinky toe, you want to be aligned, or your big toe. All right. And own the basement. What's on the basement, Brian? What is this? What are you talking about? So on the basement. So don't rush the bottom of the lunge or the eccentric part of any exercise. I forgot the actual percentages, but it is higher risk when you go fast on the eccentric portion of an exercise. It is common across the board for personal training manuals. The eccentric phase is the one we have to be careful of. So lowering down. So if I was doing a bicep curl, that's the concentric contraction. The eccentric is bringing it back down, lowering or lengthening the muscle. So shorten the muscle on the concentric contraction. And if I let go without any what's the word I'm looking for? What's the word I'm looking for, guys and gals? So if I let go and just let it drop, that's when I'm going to tear something. That's when I have a strain, right? So we want to work on owning the basement of the lunge. So when I go for that reverse lunge, I want to make sure that I stay on the bottom for a 2 second tempo to tell my body, hey, look, we're in a deep lunge here. But my brain is telling my muscle to activate, making sure that my glutes activated, my foot is not overpronating, but it's anchored in, it's screwdrivered in to the floor, and my knee and my ankle are in great alignment. And I'm going to hit that pause for 2 seconds, maybe a little longer. My knees hovering that floor. And it's 2:33 here, so I'll just finish up. And so, yeah, specialist note, right? So we don't train to failure. We train to technical failure. There's a difference in that. So I want you to sit with that for a second. We don't train to failure. We train to technical failure. The moment the knee wavers, the set is over. Quality is the only metric that matters in the den. Quality is the only metric that matters in the den. All right. So we had the reverse lunge slide presentation. You guys just saw me yapping away. You guys didn't see the presentation. If you guys want to see it live, come on in, join the Inside Den. There is a 7-day free trial. With that trial, you have the 7-day jump start. With the jump start, to get that habit going and rocking and rolling. We meet Mondays at 12 o'clock Pacific time. You also have access to the Day One Den specialist, where you have the 7 days as well on here. And once you guys have confidence in me and confidence of the Inside Den as your go-to for your online open gym, then come on board for the higher tier. That's when you'll have unlimited access to the workout material from our assistant coach, and of course the twice a week essentially 3 times a week for the higher tier. Right now, the 7-day jumpstart is once on Mondays, and yeah, and of course, sending through the video analysis of squats, lunges, wall angels, overhead squat, and of course, when we just get a little higher in the game, I have to double check and test it myself, but I'm pretty sure it'll be fine. Is if you do want to have your 10K run, you do want to improve your running gait cycle, or you want to double check how your gait cycle looks outside as a coach looking at it. We can have filming of you walking, running, front and back, making sure the ankle and foot, preferably barefoot or in your socks when you do send me that video, making sure you are in a straight line coming through. But again, that is a hopefully soon to come addition to the Day One Den coaching. Okay, but there we have it, team. 236, 12:36, or wherever time you are watching the replay. All right, team, be cool, be safe. and I'll see you Friday at noon, or 2 p.m. for me, noon for Vancouver. Let's hit that stop recording.